Welcome to this video coverage of the candidates tournament in Khanty-Mansisk, Russia, the first round, and we look at the game Andreikin against Vladimir Kramnik. Kramnik being one of the favorites of the tournament. Andreikin is the lowest rated player, but still he qualified. So he is of course also tough player to face. So let's see, Andreikin having white, and he goes for d4 and in fact allows the Nimzo Indian as white, which is a slight surprise, not a big surprise. Slight surprise because Andreikin is mostly mixing his opening repertoire of 1 e4 and d4 sidelines, and now he's playing a d4 main line. However, Kramnik is of course he's not ultra predictable, but slightly predictable. You can expect him to play the Nimzo, and Andreikin has obviously prepared something. Played queen c2 here, the classical variation. Kramnik castles, a3, takes, and d5. And this d5 move is an interesting theoretical development of recent years. It was almost unknown in the early 2000s, let's say 2003, 2002. This move was basically unknown, or let's say it was regarded as a possible move, but not considered to be so great. b6 was the main move back then, and it is still popular nowadays. This d5 move, however, has become popular due to the efforts of many players. One of them is Kramnik. He has played this a number of times, but there are also games by former world champion Vishy Arnard and other strong GMs. One point of this move is that after the normal looking move c takes d5, capturing on d5, black is not responding with the obvious move e takes d5, but has a better alternative. The thing is that after this, white can actually play bishop g5, which transposes the game into something that might arise from the Rogozin in the Queen's Indian, but where the knight is not yet on f3. So this is maybe a slightly better position for white. The fun point is that knight e4 is a possibility, and this renders c takes d5 rather unattractive. In a rather well-known game between Carlsen and Kramnik, queen c2 was played, ed5, bishop f4, knight c6. Black has got great quick development. Look how quick he gets the rook on the e-file. And now after knight f3, Kramnik got a nice initiative with this g5 push and even g4. Knight e5 takes, and here after c5 it was black who had the initiative. Carlsen really needed to play an exceptionally good defense to keep this game within the bounds of a draw. This was played in Moscow 2009. So we see that Kramnik has some experience with this line, but Andreikin didn't take. As mentioned, it is not popular anymore because knight e4 is believed to give black a good game. Knight f3 and takes. That's the way it is played. Queen c4, you need to get the pawn back, and b6. And now we see the general idea, the justification behind black's setup. The white queen, and in addition this pawn move, 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves, and a4. These were 4 moves for the bishop pair, which is nice. You know, if you know the channel, I like my bishops. Well, the thing is, it took lots of time, and black will gain a further tempo with bishop a6 on the queen, and then will quickly open up the position. He has already castled, while white still has some things to do before he gets the king out of the middle. Yeah, bishop g5, very normal looking move, bishop a6. And here the queen went to a4. Yeah, in fact here in a recent game Nakamura tried a new idea. He played queen c3 against Kramnik. Again, here again Kramnik on the black side. This was played in late 2013 in the World Team Championship in Antalya, Turkey. In fact, Nakamura won this game. Very nice game. It was like that, just to show what was happening. And now he went for this idea, going for the fianchetto. Kramnik, in fact, was very close to equalizing in this game, and probably with some precise moves he would have been able to actually really make a draw. You can be quite sure that he has polished up this by now and would have been ready for this move. But Andreikin played queen a4. Yeah, here black also is able to play c5. It's also a possible move. But queen d7 was Kramnik's choice, and this is nowadays also a well-known move. We follow a couple of earlier games. Queen c2. Yeah, white does not want to speed up the development even further. Now black is very much ready for a quick c5. And also note that it's not so convenient to get f1 developed here, this bishop. If you play g3, bishop g2, for instance, you still have e2 to worry about, so you cannot easily castle after that. And yeah, if you go here, it even costs more time. Rook takes, you need to artificially castle, and this is just very equal. Yeah, this is why white retreats the queen. And now black plays in a very logical way. He went for c5. Yeah, you need to open up the position now. You're better developed as black. And if you give white lots of time in this position, he will prosper with the bishops. And you need to really speed up the course of the game. c5 takes and rook c8. So intending to get this rook into the game quickly. Yeah, and it's very tough to find something for white here. I did a quick review of the games that have been played and did check it a bit with the computer. There is really, white has a hard time to prove anything in this line, but as we see, he took on f6 now. Recaptures. Yeah, note that, oops, sorry, hit the wrong button there. If you look at this, after this capture, black needs to recapture. You cannot flick in this move because white can retreat the bishop. So takes, and now queen e4. This is a very direct way, of course, to play. White just attacks this rook here in the corner and yeah, forces the issue. What should black play now? If you really care about this rook, I mean, you react to that in a passive fashion, then white really has accomplished something. For instance, if black would play bishop b7, just for argument's sake, check. You give this check and play queen h4. And this is already a bit annoying because black does not have a good move to cover f6. You cannot play knight d7. The queen is on the square, so the queen probably has to do the covering, and now white can quite safely grab the pawn and continue with the pawn up. You have this also coming up. Black must do something drastic now. He cannot play a passive move. Knight c6 is a bit more interesting, but still check. We look at this. Yeah, black needs to always lose this move and then I'll take. This is a bit more interesting as managed than the one before, but still it feels like this might not be enough for a pawn. Black has a much better solution, and Kramnik plays it. He plays queen to b5, which looks maybe a bit strange at first. You left the rook en prise on a8. But it turns out that white cannot take it. If you look at this, take here, takes here. And now we see that the rook here must move. You only have d1. and then after knight c6, the queen is trapped. Rather typical type of queen trap. Takes, takes. Yeah, and now white is in trouble. This is hanging. How do you continue? If white takes, then black flicks in this check and can even go for a direct attack. This is the big problem. It's not just a thing of material. You just get attacked fiercely here, very quickly. You look at this. There's this very funny resource. Rook b3.
Checkmate.
Leads to a direct mate. And white needs to return now, and he's completely paralyzed here. Black has a big advantage. So white cannot take the rook. So great move, queen b5. But it all has been played before, and you won't believe who played it. It's black, right? Kramnik. We still follow a game from last year between Mamedyarov, who's also in this tournament, and Kramnik. So it's clear that both players had all this in their home preparation. And if you look at the time spent, Andreikin spent one minute something, Kramnik like 7 minutes. So they both were not inventing stuff here. They just knew what to do because they analyzed it at home, based on a game that Kramnik had already played. So it's not even a hard guessing game. Okay, he took on c5 now after b4. Yeah, white really needed to do that. b2 was hanging. So after this, white now played e3, which makes lots of sense, attacking the queen. And it must move to b7. And what now? This at first might look a bit awkward because white now gets the queen over to the king side.
Check.
And this happened. The check. King moved to f8. And now b5. Interesting move. The thing is, if white plays something like that, black will take, and this is not really helping him. So b5 is an interesting intermediate move. It obviously attacks the bishop, and it initiates a tactical sequence now. Black, of course, has to take it, otherwise white will just win material. So he took it, and rook b1. And this at first looks really, really strange. Isn't this bishop lost in this pin here? After a6, a4. You really might think though, but black can play f5. And now the white queen obviously has to move. And in this exact position, we are on move 21. In this exact position, Andreikin played the move queen to f4. And this is in fact a novelty. This is the new move on move 21. In the mentioned game Mamedyarov against Kramnik, it went queen h4, and after queen e4, now Mamedyarov went for a draw. You can do that with a check. And then they
check
went for a perpetual check. In the game, as mentioned, it was queen f4 that was played, and now Kramnik plays queen e4, and this is the tactical resource that keeps black in the game. You attack the rook here, and this is the tempo gainer. You need to save your bishop on b5. Here, like in the Mamedyarov game, Andreikin could have gone for queen h6, and it's a draw. It's just the same position. But he went a different way. He took on e4, fe4. One line I'd like to show.
Check.
When I first saw that, I thought that maybe knight d2 might be an idea, but black can simply take this pawn. The white might be able to scrape a draw, but it's certainly nothing that interests whites very much. So he took it and took on b5. So temporarily white is a piece up, so black needs to grab the knight that is attacked on f3. Yeah, and the next move is certainly the most testing. If white now, let's say takes here, you even struggle with b material down. The best move is just b6, intending b7 with with a fork on both rooks. So black needs to react. He only has one move, rook to d8, and now white took on f3. Note the time. The time is pretty precise here. They both spent like 20 minutes, 25 minutes in Kramnik's case to put those moves on the board. So it's not like we're just basically on move 4 of this game. If you count it from the moment on, there was a novelty. So gf and knight c6. Yeah, the question now is, what about this pawn on b6? Is this strong? Is this weak? In fact, it turns out that the following sequence of moves is almost forced, because black has a simple idea. He wants to play knight to b4 to block this rook on the b file and then round up the pawn. And if white is not doing anything concrete against that, he will just win the pawn and probably the game. So white needs to be quick here. He went f4, knight to b4 as mentioned, bishop g2, rook b8, it was attacked, and b7. This is completely forced. Otherwise he would just lose the b pawn. He needs to push it to b7 and support it by the bishop. Yeah, and now we see Kramnik's idea. He went knight d5, yeah, stopping the influence of the bishop by the knight, and he will attack the b7 pawn and win it. There is no way for white to save the pawn. Rook c1 was played, and, black got this pawn, and after bishop d5, e d5, the game was ended exactly here with a draw. It's clear that white will take on c5. And here there are a number of ways to draw the game for both sides. It's kind of a case where many roads lead to Rome. Rook b5 is one possible way to draw. Let's say rook c7, and black also can always play d4 just to split those pawns and grab them later. Let's say here, and then rook here, and you will get the pawns. It's just a completely dead draw. We have here the case of a game where the preparation of both players was basically, I guess, identical. They both identified that best play leads to a draw, which is certainly okay for Kramnik in this case. With black, you have to accept some cases where the opponent is just able to force a draw. What can you do? And Andreikin, being relatively new in those elite circles, he has not played so many of those big tournaments. For Andreikin, I guess it was also okay to get this draw, and maybe it's not like he's sitting there and wants to make a draw from move 1. It's just the case that he knows that the line that he's choosing, he has the draw as the minimum result. He knows that best play is a draw, and if black is doing something funky, he might get some chances, but it's still not too exciting to watch. Two players basically reproducing their analysis, but it is happening in some sharp lines, so not much that you can do about it. Still maybe you got something from this game. It's an interesting line for black, nevertheless, if you don't mind to accept those type of draws that might happen against a well-prepared player. Then you have a good line here for the black side and the Nimzo Indian. Alright, thanks for watching.